Hey everyone, another day. It's always another day, isn't it? Yeah, Wednesday today. So, just got a delivery from the States. Some stuff I was waiting on. So I'll give you a look at what I got. So I got my little LEDs, which I may or may not need now, depending on which gauge cluster I run. If I run the new gauges that I bought, then I need to use these. If I go with that Jeep Cherokee one, they're already built into the cluster, so these will just end up getting sold with the gauges. Also got these beautiful 33 to 36 Ford lockable handles. Got a pair of them. So they're nice. I got those Chevron taillight gaskets that he said he didn't have and had no intentions of getting in. So I got them anyway. And I got a set of dovetails as well. So that's going to help keep the doors aligned with also, you know, the assistance of the door locks. And I had my friend come over yesterday with my old man, and he just had a look at the truck, and I was talking to him about the whole soldering process on the headlight reflectors, and he gave me a few little tips. Not that he's had a go at it himself, and he couldn't do it. He reckons it just did his head in. He ended up using plastic body filler in the end, but he had some really thin, like lead sticks, really thin stuff, which is, these are more controllable along thin seams, so thin joins, and that's basically what I got to do. Also, my old man had this kicking around in his garage at home. Bought it, never used it, never took it back. Still got the receipt on the back. So he said, "Yeah, take this. I don't want it." So I'm hoping that will give me a bit more of a a smaller flame. I might even have a tip, even a smaller tip that will go onto this. I was just going through all my old oxyacetylene fittings, and I found a couple of things, but I can't remember what I've actually got out there. Also, my mate that gave me the sticks, he had some punches, so I can punch the serial number into that new ID plate. These ones are small. He has actually got the letters, but they're at work at the moment, and because he's off recovering from his last operation, he's not at work. But he said if I can wait, he'll bring the letters home as well. All I need is a J. So I've got everything else there that I need. My dad had his own set of stamps, which he's never used in his life, but these are bigger ones. These are letters as well. But the one thing I might be able to use is the I, because I actually need to put a dash in there because it's a J5-896. So I can actually use the I as the dash. So yeah, a few little things have sort of come together in the last couple of days, even though I haven't done any work on the truck. So yeah, not much else to tell. Haven't done anything else. I did source a set of mirrors for the truck as well. They fit over the top hinge on the door. Again, American seller on eBay. Doesn't answer his emails from his customers. Really bad customer service again. I'm going to hold out for a week on them. These are something that I can't just go and order. Sure, the mirror and the stem will be fine, and he says there to fit a 2-inch hinge, but a 2.25 inch hinge. Mine are, from what I can measure, if I don't measure the, if I only measure the hinge itself, it's 2-inch. So these are 2-inch, but if I measure the head, if I measure the head of the pin, it comes in at 2.25, which is what he's saying his mirrors are. So I've asked him a specific question: is the 2.25 measurement the hinge, or the hinge and the hinge pin head? Because the mirror has to slide over this. Even if the mirror part is 2.25, I suppose I can always put a spacer here at the bottom, because it does say that they come with long pins, but I have to make sure it's going to fit. If it doesn't fit, I'm going to blow, I don't know what it is, I think it works out at about $120 delivered from the States. And you know, these aren't the sort of things that you can just sell on really quickly, and they are for a pickup. So trying to sell them for anybody building a passenger car, you know, a coupe or a roadster, these are going to be no good. They're only good for a pickup. So I don't want to take the chance in ordering them and then they don't fit on my hinges. And it's not like I can change the hinges. Now, I've told him this Studebaker hinges. He's got these mirrors advertised for a Ford, and that's why I need him to clarify the dimensions so that we get it right. So I'm hoping that, yeah, the guy does the right thing and he gets back to me and doesn't ignore me, as Gearhead Enterprises did. So, because everything I've ordered through him has been on a chance, basically, because he didn't answer any of my questions. So, yeah. But I'm going to get stuck back into the truck tomorrow, and I'm going to do a little bit more work on that, so I'll pick up on the video tomorrow. Cheers, guys. Hi, everyone. Just doing a couple of little things today on the chassis, or just taking some measurements of things on the chassis. There's not much more I can do on the cabin until Mike makes those pieces for the windscreen. Once he's done that, then it's full steam ahead on getting all the steel work back in the cab. So I thought I'd have a look at the exhaust system today, because there's not a lot to it. It's very simple, and whilst I got the cabin off, this is going to give you a good chance to have a look at it. So I'll start from the back, because there's not really much to tell. You know, I've got the mufflers sitting there at the moment. I do have proper hangers, as I've shown you in some of the early videos. So I will, when the time's right, I'll fit up the hangers. And one thing I'm going to do this week is I'm going to go to a local exhaust place, and I'm going to ask them, not necessarily this piece of pipe, but I'm going to ask them if they can give me a 2-inch piece of pipe that flares out to 2.25 inch, because I've got these big massive 3-inch chrome tips that look absolutely beautiful that I want to put on this. And but they're 2.25. I couldn't get them in 2-inch. I had to go 2.25. So my system all the way through is 2-inch. Yeah, I know it sounds small to a lot of you, but you know, this is going to be daily driver. I want it quiet. I want it to pass the decibel requirements. And yeah, so I'm going to get that made up. The other bit I'm going to get made up, and I'm not sure how I'm exactly going to do this at the moment, because if you have a look at these bits I've got hanging off the exhaust manifolds, they're, you know, I just cut them off a Y piece. This used to go into a used to get, it was a 2-inch system, but it had a H pattern set up on it, but I couldn't use it here because of certain things, the brake booster obviously and the transmission mount, so I just lopped them off there just to give me an idea of what I would need in the way of clearance with the chassis. So that's what I've done. But what I'm thinking of doing is taking these two bits down to the exhaust joint as well, and what I'll do is I'll get a piece of coat hanger wire, and I'll bend this to the radius that it's at the moment, and I'll bring it down to where I want it to curve. And what I'll do is I'll get him to basically make me 2 lengths of exhaust. It's roughly 1.5 meters to here. So what I'll do is I'll get him to bend this to the same shape as it is now, come down, put a 90 in it, and run at 1.5, and that'll go straight into my mufflers, and then that's my exhaust system finished, guys. I don't have to do nothing else. The question is, well, it's actually not. It's not a question. I'm gonna have to run it underneath the transmission crossmember. I've got plenty of room to run it above on this side, but the problem is the brake booster is above the transmission crossmember on this side, so this one would have to go under, and I don't want them sitting at different heights because it'll look sort of tacky. So yeah, I'll run them both underneath here. You know, if you're doing something really super special and this was a high-tech build or something like that, you could probably run it down here and then sneak it up over the cross member and run it back. But we're not going to do that. It's just too time consuming. It means that the truck has to go into the exhaust place, which means I have to hire a tandem trailer, and it just gets too complicated. So I'm going to do away with that idea. I'm just going to run under the cross member, I think, because I have to be mindful that the mufflers actually sit higher than that transmission cross member. So I've got to do a few more measurements. I've only just started, so yeah, we'll see where we get to with it, and I'll let you know when I made a decision. Cheers. Hi everyone, doing a little bit of work today on the truck. Had a few dormant days where I haven't really done anything. Decided to have a little bit of a play with the console and start sacrificing the mock-up console to get the parts I needed. So I'll give you a bit of a look at what I've done. I haven't actually cut the required pieces out of this console that I need to cut out of them, but I have made the filler pieces for it. So that's the first piece, and I don't know if you can see it in the light here, but that has to be cut out of there, but that will go in, that will get glued in there. I'll finish up all the edges really nice, so that'll square the console out on that side. And then I've got this one here. I have to cut the slot here for the bar for the cowl vent. But this piece, there's some little bits of tweaking that need doing, but that's pretty much it. So they can get glued in. I cut the holes out for the electric window switches. That's all working pretty good. They're all locked in. And I'll take you outside and I'll show you what else I'm doing now. Okay guys, hopefully it's not too dark out here. It's just going on dusk now. Been playing around with the exhaust, just taking measurements, doing bits and pieces. Found a little bit of scrap PVC in the shed, tried to bend it, didn't work. But that's just to get a bit of an idea of what I'm trying to do. So I'm trying to run that. Whoops, there we go. It's come off. But yeah, I'm trying to run this on this side of the brake booster, which will run it directly into the pipe. Now this little bit of PVC that I've got, I'd actually need this to be about 20 millimeters longer if it was welded to this outlet. So when I go and see the exhaust guy, I've got to say, this is what I want, but make this part here 20 millimeters longer. So that's what I've been doing with the exhaust. I've pretty much got it all worked out, lengths and everything like that. Now, just started on something. Whilst I'm here, I'll just give you a look at the butchery of the old console. Hopefully you can see that. Yeah, I took a bit out of it. I had to put a little piece down the bottom with a couple of screws to hold it together. But yeah, I can still use it as my mock-up. So that's good. Now, decided that I might have a little bit of a go at the doors, see how it's all sort of held together. My passenger door is more complete than my driver's door. It still has all the guides in it for the glass, and it's pretty close to probably how it would have been erected, minus the inside door panel. But that's the passenger door. You can see here it's got all its reinforcement bits and pieces, and it's got all the glass guides here. So that's still, you know, it's all nailed in. That's pretty much how it was. There's a trace there of some felt. That would have been some felt to stop scratching of the window. So I'm going to leave this one because I haven't spoken to Mike in about a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks now. He's probably busy but still working on my windscreen opening. We briefly discussed what we might do with doors, whether we use tubing but sort of section it like a C-channel, or whether we make it out of sheet metal. We'll just you know, take these pieces out, trace them out on sheet metal, but make it one. My sheet metal's really long, so all we'll do is we'll lay all the pieces end to end, trace them all out, cut them out of that one piece of sheet metal, and then just basically wrap it around, bend it to the shape, and put one weld in it, one seam, and that will pretty much give us at least a shell. Now I've taken this first piece out. It had 2 rows of nails there, so that was in like that. So I've got that out, which is good, and I'm just going to keep sort of plugging away with it and see how far I get. I imagine that on the actual face side of it, there's probably just lead everywhere with the amount of nails. Like, they've punched these straight through the skin. So I think I'm gonna be horrified when I actually take to it with the butane torch and try and melt all the lead out. I think it's just going to be an absolute mess. So anyway, I'm going to keep having a little bit of a go at this, see what I can remove from it, and I'll pick the video back up in a couple of minutes time. Cheers. Alright guys, I managed to get the side piece off here, but only up to the window opening. I'm making an attempt to get this bottom piece off. Problem is, I was going to use the grinder, but both my batteries are flat, and I really can't be bothered using my electric grinder. So there we go. Got the bottom piece off. Yeah, very interesting the way all this is all sort of constructed and screwed together, and it's definitely definitely something different. Sort of glad I got this really rare truck, but you know, being wood, it's not an easy project. So yeah, I'm just going to keep plugging along, guys, and just work my way around and just try and get this down to a bare door skin, and see what we can do about a frame for it. Alright guys, I've just taken this strip off here, right at the top, right at the bottom of the window opening. I've just pried that out as well. That ended up splitting, so yeah, I'm about 80% of the way there now. So there's so many little bits and pieces. You really have to admire these coach builders back in the day. You know, they were trying to produce these things, you know, basically production line method, but still building them by hand. And it's the amount of work that must have went into it is incredible. The amount of screws and nails and stuff, it's mind-blowing, the amount of stuff I'm pulling out of here. So I've only got this piece here and this piece to go, and I've got a bare door skin there. So yeah, I'll get those last bits out, and then I'll pick up on the where we're at. Cheers. Okay guys, the scary bit's over now. So I didn't end up damaging the door skin at all. I've got all the framework out. It's extremely flimsy. Like, it's a solid skin, but it's just, obviously it's got no support. So all done. There's all the wood everywhere, maybe even a little bit of asbestos there. So that's all out. Now to try and make sense of what I got there, I don't think I'm going to. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to, once we get the windscreen in, and then I can tack all the I can tack all these in and tack all the floor in. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tack the door skins to the body here, and I'm just going to assemble a frame from the inside of the truck, something that will work. I think trying to guess or try and use these as templates is not going to work. It's yeah, it's pretty ugly. It's pretty ugly stuff. So I think the best thing to do is, yeah, just get the door tacked into the door opening, and then try and fit the steel up against the door skin and see what works. So yeah, a lot of nails, guys. I don't think they've actually put them through the skin. If you can see here where they've lipped it over, they've actually put another piece of sheet metal in there. So I'd say what they would have done is built the door frame first, nailed these pieces to the door frame, to the wooden door frame, and then what they've done is they've stuck the skin over the top of this sheet metal, and then just bash the edges over. I think that's the way they've done it. So sort of like the same way a caravan's built. You know, they build it from the inside out. And if any of you guys have ever tried to redo all the roof lining and wall paneling inside a caravan, you'll know that all the staples are put in from the top, because they basically build the frame before they put all the cladding on the outside. And yeah, trying to revamp a caravan, putting all the new sheets in, you end up doing it differently to the way that it was originally done. So this is going to be a little bit the same, I think. So I'm not going to do any more on it tonight. I've had enough, and it's one of them things, you know, if I keep going I'll fuck it up. So yeah, I'm going to call it a night and go in. Cheers.